Having made the standard version of its small Puma crossover pretty sporty to drive, Ford wants you to also consider this top ST variant, now powered only by an uprated 170 PS version of its familiar 1-litre EcoBoost powerplant. Can this differently engined, updated model really replicate the fizzy spirit we so loved in the original version? My name is Jonathan Crouch. I've been testing cars for over 40 years. You'll find them all on the Car and Driving Car Reviews app. Here, I'm going to try and tell you everything you really need to know about this car in a way that you'll find nowhere else. Here's a supposedly improved version of Ford's little performance SUV, the Puma ST. There are certainly useful updates here, but not so welcome is the news that in this form, this engaging little car has lost its signature engine. So what are we left with? Here, we're going to find out. This is now the only ST badged Ford left on sale. The only remaining member of what for the Blue Oval brand was once quite an evocative badge, and one that enthusiasts have flocked to for decades with fast Fiesta and Focus hot hatches. At this Puma ST's original launch back in 2020, we questioned whether the ST moniker really belonged on an SUV, but quickly concluded that it certainly belonged on this one. The Puma was always developed with this quick variant in mind, and in ST form, the Ford Performance team did a really thorough job in further evolving what were already very impressive drive dynamics. That original car was blessed with the fizzy little 200 PS 1.5 litre EcoBoost petrol engine and 6-speed manual gearbox combination from the late lamented Fiesta ST. It seems strange to have to report that emissions legislation has killed that unit off at a time when Ford still offers a 5-litre normally aspirated V8 in the Mustang. But so it is, and this updated Puma ST must make do with merely an uprated 170 PS version of the 3-cylinder 1-litre engine that all other Pumas use. Even more disappointingly, this can only be had with automatic transmission. Is there a bright side to all this? We're going to find out if there is. You can find out more about this kind of car by downloading the Car and Driving app. And if you're interested specifically in this facelifted Puma ST, you'll need to stay with us for the industry's most comprehensive review, the Car and Driving Road Test. Let's get straight to it. We loved the original Puma ST, and this updated version is still an exceptionally fine handling small SUV. But with the replacement of the original model's 200 PS 1.5 litre 4-cylinder Fiesta ST derived engine with the 1 litre 3-cylinder 170 PS unit that now features here, it's lost a lot more than just 30 PS of power. Initially, you might not notice this very much unless you start to rag the thing about. It actually starts with quite a nice burble, as an ST badged Ford ought to, and first impressions are of beautifully sharp and direct steering. Get beyond the city limits and start to push along, and you'll find yourself admiring the exceptional corner turning and body control. You might even quite like the engine note, which sounds impressively gutsy for a 1-litre unit. Once you get over 3,000 RPM, there's quite a bit of low-speed punch. Given that the powerplant's just 3 cylinders in size with a modest 248 Newton meters of torque. Despite that, the rest of 62 mile/hour sprint is still quite eagerly dispatched in 7.4 seconds en route to 130 miles an hour. Those figures are respectively 0.7 of a second and 7 miles an hour slower than the pre-facelift version, but all of this might still be fine, providing you've no experience of the previous model. If you have, then you'll instantly miss the way that there's now no incentive to rev the thing out like a shopping rocket. This car's lost its zing, which of course isn't helped by the way you now have to have it with an automatic gearbox rather than the primary transmission choice with the old car, a slick shifting 6-speed manual. The 7-speed dual-clutch power shift auto is a paddle shift affair, of course, but it isn't a particularly engaging or quick responding setup, and sometimes hesitates just when you need a quick response. At least there's still plenty of Ford performance engineering incorporated here in a bid to give this fast, small SUV some real handling credibility. As with the pre-facelift model, an optimized chassis features bespoke twist beam, anti-roll bar and damper configurations. Plus, also as before, the steering response is 25% faster and the brakes are 17% larger than the standard Puma. Specifically developed Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres help deliver an agile Ford SUV driving experience, plus thick front and rear anti-roll bars add to cornering stability. On the test drive, you'll immediately notice how firmly this car rides the bumps, inevitably so, as a hallmark of the Puma ST has always been that its rear suspension is stiffened by 50%, plus there are big 19-inch wheels. But you could probably live with the firm damping on your daily commute, which is just as well because there's no built-in selective damping system or optional adaptive setup available. At cruising speeds, this ST feels much like any normal Puma. Like any ordinary variant in this model line, the ST version features selectable drive modes. Normal, eco and slippery are the everyday ones, plus there's a more red-blooded sport setting that deepens the exhaust note and to which you can go directly via this S button on the right hand steering spoke, and then the instruments go all orange. On the original Puma ST there was also the possibility of having a further drive mode setting, an extra racetrack driving mode if you paid extra for Ford's optional performance pack, which more significantly included a limited slip differential and launch control. Another disappointment with this facelifted model is that this pack is no longer available, replaced by an optional handling pack whose only dynamic inclusion is more agile KW coilover suspension. We have that fitted here. The Puma's sporty styling with its sloping roofline silhouette and pronounced wheel arches has always lent itself to the more extreme design of this ST variant. Ford says that the beady daytime running lights are a nod to its GT supercar. Maybe. This is certainly a more purposeful looking Puma. A Ford performance embossed splitter is integrated into the front bumper to increase front-end downforce by almost 80% for greater stability and traction. Signature ST upper and lower grills are designed to deliver increased engine cooling capability, and of course this ST gets the revised front end and headlights that mark out models in the facelifted Puma range. It's the only variant in the lineup that gets these headlamps with standard matrix technology. We could do without the twin fake corner vents though. For those in the know, it's from the side that it'll become evident whether this Puma ST has been upgraded with Ford's optional handling pack. If it has been, as here, then the car comes with the usual 19-inch wheels in this special ST branded gloss black design, and there's a contrast coloured roof. Features common to all Puma STs include red brake calipers, black mirror caps, rear privacy glass, and this black lower trim strip. At the rear, where there's a big ST badge on the hatch, the unique ST body styling kit gets you this large rear roof spoiler with a distinctive diffuser incorporated into the rear bumper. When it's time to take a look in the cabin, standard power foldable door mirrors, they project the ST logo onto the ground when unlocking, and as you open the door, you glimpse Ford Performance branded scuff plates here illuminated. And once inside, well, first impressions will probably depend on whether you owned or were familiar with the pre-facelift model. If not, it might all seem rather pleasing, with lashings of double red stitching and a pair of grippy, heated Ford Performance sport seats trimmed in Alcantara and synthetic leather. Plus you get silver pedals, a rather nice ST embroidered badge on the far side of the fascia, and fancy Ford Performance graphics on the centre screen at startup. But if you own the old car, you'll immediately miss the absence of that old model's beautifully supportive Recaro seats. And you'll resent the fact that unless you pay extra for the optional handling pack, you get the ordinary Puma model's ghastly squirrel oval steering wheel. That pack includes this better looking but still somewhat oversized round tiller. To be fair, there are some positives as part of this update. As with an ordinary Puma, the centre screen has grown from 8 inches to 12 inches in size, while the instrument display grows from 12.3 to 12.8 inches, all as part of a redesigned dashboard design that's less cluttered than before and features slim air vents and a more wraparound feel, though now clutters indicator and wiper functions altogether on a single stalk. Some things haven't changed, of course, which is good and bad in equal measure. On the positive side, you still get this neat soundbar-like B&O speaker stretching right over the top of the two main screens for the standard premium 10-speaker audio system, and the ergonomics remain excellent, with everything falling nicely to hand and a sporty feeling driving position that's slightly lower set than the class norm, and in this car feels all the better for it. Not so good is the rather cheap feeling build quality from Ford's Otosan supposedly state-of-the-art Craiova factory in Romania, evidenced by the hard shiny passenger side dashtop surfacing, the way this box between the seats creaks from side to side, and the flimsy sides to the door bins. Small crossovers these days are usually now better finished than this. We mentioned the new digital instrument cluster, which has higher definition graphics and displays with two round gauge-like dials for RPM and speed. If you press the sport button, everything goes orange. You can tailor what appears in the center of the screen. The options are trip and fuel data, vehicle status info, vehicle maintenance, trip computer info, audio selection, navigation and phone settings. It can show a compass, tyre pressures and even a gauge showing the workings of the new engine's hybrid system. Plus, for this ST, there's a selectable performance gauges screen, which shows oil temperature, turbo boost and oil pressure. Everything else is covered off by this big 12-inch Sync 4 center infotainment screen, which apparently has twice the computing power of the previous Sync 3 system. The main area of the screen isn't quite as big as its overall size suggests, because there's a wide shortcut section for settings, features and apps on the right frame, and a chunk of the bottom frame is taken up with the permanently displaying climate functions that savvier brands are now recognizing that most buyers want to see separated out into physical switchgear. Here, the previous buttons for climate control and heated seats are now integrated into the touchscreen. This monitor includes navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Ford Assistant voice control. And there are some nice touches too, like a valet mode and built-in Alexa. Plus, the previous 4G Ford Pass Connect system's been upgraded to a 5G setup to drive the incorporated vehicle hotspot. Some effort's been made to make the cabin a little more practical, hence this new phone storage compartment with nearby USB-A and USB-C ports and a nicely high-set integrated wireless charging mat. The lidded box between the seats is deep with a lift-out tray, and just ahead are twin cup holders with a couple of nearby cubbies. The door bins and the glove box are both quite big, and there are ticket clips in the sun visors. Time to take a seat in the rear. Will this Puma's relatively short size cost you in terms of back seat space? To some extent, yes, though most customers will probably only be using this rear bench for kids or adults on occasional short journeys, so that might not matter. It's a pity though that this bench base can't slide as it would in a rival sportily trimmed Renault Captur or Volkswagen T-Roc. These small side windows don't help create much of a roomy feel, and if you've lanky teenagers to ferry about, we'd steer you clear of the optional two-part panoramic glass roof which eats into headroom. Otherwise though, a couple of 6-footers would be comfortable enough, helped by the way that they could slide their big size 10s under the seat in front. Little effort has been made, even in this plush model, to break up the drab plastic of the door cards, but Ford has at least now added a couple of USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket in the centre back here. You don't get a central armrest, which is predictable on a Super Mini derived model, and there are no overhead reading lights either. Plus the door bins are basically just bottle holders, and the headrests dig into the back of your neck until they're raised. But you do get a couple of overhead coat hooks and netted seat back pockets. Finally, let's take a look at the boot, accessed via the kind of powered tailgate that feels a bit unnecessary on a car of this size. It opens to reveal something that might really sell you this car, a very decently sized boot, 456 litres as in any other combustion Puma. There's also an adjustable height boot floor. You really can adjust with one hand, and when it's in its lower position, up to 6 carry-on suitcases will fit back here. It can be angled too to more easily reach lower items, and has a wipe clean underside. The tonneau cover is flimsy, but it does at least rise neatly out the way as you raise the hatch, flat against the tailgate glass. There are bag hooks on both sides, and a 12-volt socket is on the right. Below the cargo base, you can't stow a spare wheel, but that's because Ford's designers decided to use this space instead to create this so-called mega box recessed underfloor well, a clever way of using the extra space, which means that tall items like plants or golf clubs can be transported upright if you move the adjustable boot floor out of the way. It's a 68-litre space, that's big enough for a couple of extra carry-on bags, and it can take up to 50 kilograms in weight. Plus it's waterproof, watertight, and even has a plug hole provided beneath this base rubber mat so that you can flush the area out after transporting filthy wellies or muddy boots. Lengthy items aren't as easily accommodated because Ford provides neither a ski hatch or a 40-20-40 rear seat back split. Push forward the 60-40 split rear backrest, and a 1,216 litre space reveals itself. As we filmed in autumn 2025, Ford was wanting from just under £34,000 for this Puma ST. Back when we last tested this car in 2021, the asking price was £28,500. To give you some perspective on today's sticker figure, that means this 170 PS Puma ST costs £2,300 more than the next variant down in the Puma range, the more standard equivalent 155 PS Puma ST Line X Auto. The main decision that you've got to make when choosing a Puma ST is whether to specify your car with the optional handling pack, which costs £1,050 more and has been fitted here. This includes unique 19-inch alloy wheels, KW coilover suspension, illuminated front scuff plates, a round steering wheel, and a contrast painted black roof. Ask us about direct alternatives to a Puma ST and we'd struggle a bit to help you. There are similarly sized, sporty-looking SUVs, like say a Hyundai Kona with N-line trim, but they can't match this Ford's performance. Those small SUVs that could keep up with this Ford have quite a lot more power, but also cost a lot more, like say an Audi SQ2. If it's a Puma ST you want, well, there is at least plenty included within the asking price, with magnet dark finished 19-inch wheels on the standard version, a powered tailgate, keyless entry, a quick clear heated windscreen, rear privacy glass, LED tail lamps, auto headlamps and wipers, a rear camera and rear parking sensors. As with other Pumas, you get LED headlamps with auto high beam, but here they gain intelligent matrix technology, normally an £800 Puma option. Drive stuff includes bespoke ST suspension and cruise control with intelligent speed assist. Standard Forward Pass Connect modem technology allows Puma ST owners to remotely control a selection of vehicle features, including door lock, unlock and vehicle locator via the Forward Pass mobile app. The modem also enables cloud-connected local hazard information, which can inform drivers of a hazardous situation on the road ahead, even if the incident is not visible due to a bend in the road or other vehicles. Inside, you get heated red-stitched Ford Performance sports seats with synthetic suede inserts as part of a bespoke ST interior. There's also a fully digital 12.8-inch instrument cluster, a 10-speaker premium B&O sound system, a 360-degree surround view camera, a heated steering wheel and a wireless phone charging mat. You additionally get electronic automatic temperature control and the useful Megabox extended load space in the boot. Media stuff's taken care of by a 12-inch Sync 4 central monitor with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, plus connected navigation, a 6-speaker audio system, and Forward Pass Connect media connectivity. That's already mentioned. There aren't many options. You could add a power opening panorama roof or a tow bar able to carry up to 75 kilograms, the weight of 2 e-bikes. Remember that unless you choose the only standard paint colour, frozen white, you'll need to budget extra for your choice of paint shade. We've got digital aqua blue here. On to safety kits. Standard drive assist tech includes pre-collision assist with autonomous emergency braking and pedestrian cyclist detection, plus a driver impairment monitor, post-collision braking, a lane keeping aid and lane departure warning. There's also speed limit assist and rear occupant alert. This ST also includes the driver assistant pack, which is £950 more on most other Pumas. This adds a blind spot information system with lane change warning, a lane change aid and a cross traffic alert system. Plus there's wrong way alert and a useful reverse brake assist feature, and that'll automatically apply the brakes to stop you hitting objects or pets or people at parking speeds. This pack also includes an intelligent adaptive cruise control system with evasive steering assist and a traffic jam assist feature that will virtually drive this Puma for you in urban queues. Obviously, the main reason for ditching the original Puma ST's 1.5 litre engine and manual gearbox combination lies in a drive towards improved efficiency. Given that, it's a little disappointing to find that the 1 litre 170 PS 3-cylinder model that remains here isn't really that much more efficient than the much faster 200 PS 4-cylinder variant it replaces. Despite its much trumpeted mild hybrid tech, the official figures are up to 47.9 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 135 grams per kilometre of CO2, which is 6.4 mpg and 16 grams per kilometre better than that old 1.5. Enough to justify dumping that lovely fizzy little 4-cylinder unit? We don't think so, and we don't think you will either. As with other 1 litre Pumas, the instrument screen has a selectable hybrid gauge which allows you to see whether you're using or regenerating battery charge, or you could select an eco behaviour readout which rates your frugality in acceleration, deceleration and speed in percentage points out of 100. None of it is stuff a typical ST owner will waste much time over. A vehicle maintenance readout gives you tyre pressures and remaining oil life. Servicing is required every 2 years or 18,000 miles, whichever comes first. Maintenance bookings can be done online through the My Ford portal. This is part of the Ford Blue Service scheme that wraps up all of the care and maintenance of your car into one bundle that includes a free 30-point e-check of vital parts and highlights any work required with a red, amber and green traffic light warning to rank items that need attention in order of importance. There's also the Ford Service app that you can download to your phone for free. It lets you locate your nearest dealer and make a booking, plus has a couple of extra elements allowing you to find petrol stations and including a Park Me feature that remembers where you left your Puma ST so that you won't have to hunt for it, say, in busy multi-stories. As for the warranty, well, like all Fords, this one comes with a 36-month, 60,000 mile package that also includes 1 year of Europe-wide breakdown assistance. On top of that, there's an anti-corrosion guarantee for 12 years. Now, you might hope for some insurance savings with the power drop and the switch to a smaller engine. You might be disappointed. Insurance is rated at Group 21E, just one group lower than before, and 4 groups higher than any other Puma. On the plus side, this ST enjoys the highest residual values of any model in the Puma range, around 55% after 3 years and 36,000 miles. The remainder of the Puma lineup is below 50%. This is now the car we thought the Puma ST would be before we first tried it back in 2021, and in this case that's not a good thing. It's now more of a fashion accessory, though hints of the old driver's car still remain. It's still a fun thing to buzz about suburbia in. In fact, if that's what you want, with its power shift auto box, it's more user-friendly than before. But where the old Fiesta ST engined model really shone on your favourite back road on the way back from the school run, this updated model's lost a lot of its previous fizz. Which makes it all the more difficult to take that it's so much more expensive than it used to be. Perhaps in that regard, Ford's taking advantage of the fact that there's so little competition in the properly sporting section of the compact SUV combustion segment these days. Still, we can see why you might be tempted, but try not to be. Instead, search the classifieds for a lightly used pre-facelifted model fitted out with the performance pack you can sadly no longer have with this replacement. Save yourself some money, have a lot more fun, and enjoy the car this Ford really ought to be.